Is there something you'd like to tell me?
Is there something you'd like to know?
I'm your wife. I know everything.
甜蜜的画家夫妻却因为一次意外变了调。
Hello there. We're gonna call you Lily.
戏剧性十足的转变，却真真实实发生在1920年代。这段史上第一个进行变性手术的勇敢女孩莉莉，由奥斯卡影帝艾迪瑞德曼诠释。在金奖导演汤姆霍伯指导下，新片《丹麦女孩》娓娓道出这个让人心痛的遭遇。
How do you know in the very first beginning that Eddie could be Lily?
In terms of the casting, well, I had a strong instinct that he'd be an interesting choice when I read the script, and it was just 7 years ago. Eddie has a gift at making his emotions so available to the audience. I mean, he can give very emotionally raw performances. Remember in Les Miserables when he plays Marius, his song "Empty Chairs, Empty Tables" is, you know, it's a very emotional performance, and I wanted an actor who would be very open, so we would understand what they were feeling at every step of the way as they became Lily, and then there's something in Eddie that's drawn to the feminine. I mean, he played girls' parts in school plays. On the stage, he's played Viola in Twelfth Night by Mark Rylance. So I thought that'd be interesting to for him to explore that a bit more.
How interesting is it to be a woman?
How interesting is it? Oh gosh, it was riveting to be a woman. I had the most amazing experience playing Lily or trying to play Lily. For me, the whole film was an education. I got to meet women from the trans community and hear their stories specifically, and try and take from their experience and then reading Lily and Gerda's history and try and sort of combine those two things. And we started playing with the notion of who Lily was physically, what she would look like a year before we started filming.
And how much do you like the stocking and high heels?
Oh gosh. How much do I like them? That's an interesting question. It was complicated getting to learn how to navigate them and to not tear them and to not rip them. But the high heels I was worried about. But actually, the high heels in the 1920s were weren't so high. They weren't quite sort of hardcore stiletto things. So it was actually all right.
And what was your first reaction when you see your Lily's look in the mirror for the first time?
Do you know what was interesting is there wasn't a moment like that because it was a slow progress. It was trying different clothes, trying different
Nail the right look?
Exactly, to try and find it, so using different bits of makeup. There wasn't one moment in which I went, ta-da! You know, it was like, but it was a complicated thing to try and get right.
It's fun. It's fun that it is a bit of a story, that thing that I really hadn't seen him in makeup when we came and did a camera test. And camera tests you do just before you start filming, and you test makeup and hair in front of lighting and with the camera. So I was gonna change to another hairdo, and I came in and I couldn't find Eddie, and then this red-haired woman turns around, and I was like. And we immediately had such connection, Lily and I really, and her smile always made me very happy.
She looked like a totally different person than Eddie Redmayne looks like, totally different from Einar. It was remarkable to see.
First time I saw her, I was, struck by this person I never met before. So it was a surprise. It's, you run into a new existence, so to speak. So you don't see the transformation, you don't see any kind of representation, or you don't see a artificial concept, or no, you see a true being in front of you that you're about to embark on a journey with, a creative journey with, and I was excited about that. So that's how great his work was.
Is it difficult to nail the right look for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing was not so much the look, but working on the psychology of the character. And Eddie was amazing, and over a whole year before we started filming, he was reading widely transgender stories. He was meeting prominent members of the trans community, and trans women and men were very generous in sharing their stories. Because I think understanding the psychology is where it all starts, and then from that you can get to the outside of the character.
And beside the look, we know you put so much emphasis on the hand gesture and the use of hands. And what's the difference between your own hand gesture and Lily's?
Well, what was interesting for me was there are a lot of Gerda's paintings of Lily. Gerda did drawings, illustrations for Vogue, and then lots of paintings of Lily, and they were very poised. They were very sort of ultra feminine. And what was interesting to me was that Lily, as she was beginning to transition, was observing, and she was in some ways posing early on. But I hoped that what I was trying to portray was that as she began to find herself, those things sort of perhaps melted away slightly as she found her own identity.
It's Lily. You're exquisite. In, let's go in.
这场男主角第一次与女装打扮走出家门的舞会戏，也是男主角决定变身的重要关键。从一开始的局促不安到好奇模仿身边女孩，艾迪用细腻的肢体动作和表情，刻画出这心境上的重大变化。
You have kissing scenes with both men and women. Who got you more nerves?
Oh gosh, you don't. Actually, you don't really think about. It's not so much nervousness when you're by that point in the film you're so into who the character is that it tends not to be nerve-wracking.
I mean, my husband. Can you get him?
I can't.
We heard that Tom cried during your screen test with Eddie, and do you remember which scene you did?
I do remember what scene I did. It was my first reading with Eddie, and I was really nervous. And I had prepped the scene where after the artist's ball, the night after when they wake up, and Eddie is in the painter's studio, and Gerda walks in and confronts him.
Exactly what happened last night?
He may have known who I was, but I wasn't always me. So there was a moment when I was just Lily, and I think that he could see that.
But Lily doesn't exist. We were playing a game.
Something changed.
That was the scene that I did in my audition.
It was a very emotional journey, and which scene took you most time to prepare and recover after shooting?
The whole film I think we all knew that we were up for a quite, big challenge with this film, and it was a lot of scenes that you had to dig deep quite far within yourself and dare to let go. But with having Tom on set, who always was so always made us feel both Eddie and I and everyone else feel very comfortable and safe, and that's where you dare to push yourself and dare to go to places where you might fail, but when you go again, you have the chance and ability to maybe find something very special. And working with such an amazing actor and now great friend, Eddie, it was tough, but also it's a big gift as an actor to get the chance to do that kind of scenes.
35 mil on exactly the same setup.
And we know you cry 3 times while you're reading the script, and you cry again when you see the screen test of Alicia and Eddie. Does it happen often?
Well, it's a good question. No, otherwise it wouldn't be important. No, I mean, I can't think of really crying when I've read a script at any other time. The only other time in a casting that I cried was when Anne Hathaway sung Dreamed a Dream for Les Miserables, and that was very moving. But it was very funny, because in the audition, Eddie was there with Alicia, and he turned around at the end of a take, and I was kind of a bit tearful, and he was like, well, she's obviously got the part there. And I was like, Eddie, shh, no, I'm still, it's still to be decided.
Which is the most difficult, challenging thing for you to do the whole film?
Making sure that the way I experienced the story, and the emotions I experienced, that I bring the film to the audience, so that I'm capturing those emotions and I move, the audience for the film in the same way that I was moved. That's what I care about most.
The way that Tom likes to work, I love that he was so sure that he wanted the rehearsing period, which I found, sometimes you don't have that on film, and that really made a big change in this project for us, because it is so emotionally training, you know, what they go on this journey. So we had that, and then he also is one of those directors, he quite many times, Eddie and I have talked about this, and we kind of were in the scene, and if you're tired or it's a lot, you end up going on the same track each take, and then he always came in and gave us just not a whole lot of words and descriptions, just like a little key, a little word, a little something that kind of, he saw what journey, where we wanted to aim, and then he gave us the little key to be able to get there, and he's a very intelligent director.
Yeah, he has a lot of attention, and attention is love, again, and that, again, relates to the story. You know, attention is a form of love.
Wow, look at you knocking it out of the park an hour.
See? My God. And all of a sudden, at the end of the day, I wake up and then it comes out just like, bam! You don't even have to pay for it. You know, it's just for free.
I'll just steal it.
Normally, I just sell them at the street corners. $5 for all my wisdom. But.
Eddie looks so pale in the movie, and was it all makeup or he can stay in the sun?
Well, he's got slightly reddish hair. He's got very pale complexions, but it was also something that I thought was interesting, that he was a contrast to Gerda, who was quite tanned, and there was something quite strong in that the aesthetic of that contrast.
Action.
这回丹麦女孩也不负众望，入围奥斯卡4项大奖。去年才拿影帝的 Eddie， 今年再度入围。艾莉西亚也首度角逐女配角，恭喜恭喜
Where did you put your Oscar?
Where's that? My Oscar is, oh God, it sits. I have a little apartment in London, and there is a coffee, like a little side table with a load of old photos on it, and it sits there. And it's so shiny that it almost doesn't look real. So I have to keep checking it's real.
Your first nomination, or?
I think all of that you take, of course, it's the sweetest compliment to hear that it's any kind of buzz going on, and still you take it with a pinch of salt, and I think in the end you're just, any good words that are said about the film, if people go and see the film, they go to the cinema and watch it because they've heard good things. That's kind of why we're storytellers, and we want people to feel things. So I hope people will enjoy it when it comes out.
Hi Taiwan, I hope you go and watch The Danish Girl starring Eddie Redmayne and Alicia Vikander. I'm Tom Hooper, director.
Hi Taiwan, I'm Alicia Vikander and I'm in Danish Girl. I really hope you will be given a chance to go and see our film.
I love you because you're the only person who made sense of me, who made me possible.